Attention metalheads! Want to rep the classic metal show everywhere you go? Head to the CMS store and grab some killer swag. Whether it's coffee cups, t-shirts, wall art, or even phone cases, we've got you covered with all things CMS, featuring our iconic logo and badass mascot Rex. Don't miss out. Visit cmsstore.cmspn.com today. Support the show, show off your style, and rock on with the classic metal show.
Hey kids, this is John Corabi from the Dead Daisies, and you, my friends, are watching CMS TV. Turn it up.
But we did a story back in 2015 about a young person of color, a Swede.
Okay.
Who went to Denny's and they had an all-you-can-eat pancake special.
Okay.
For like $4.99.
Sure.
And she decided that meant that it was all you can eat. You and your friends and anybody else you wanted to invite along.
Right, I remember this, yeah.
To share in your pancakes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. Where is it?
Yeah, the you part was very, very liberal, right?
Yes.
By you mean anybody that came in with you.
Exactly. Let's see here. Pancakes. One. Oh, here it is. This was way back. This was 2015. So we did this story back in 2015.
Okay.
A disagreement over the meaning of all you can eat led to an arrest at a restaurant. Oaklawn police say Natasha West ordered the $4 all-you-can-eat pancakes at a Denny's restaurant November 6th in Oaklawn, Illinois. They say when West started sharing the pancakes with her friends, a waitress told them that was not permitted. Police said that West swore at the waitress and tried to hit her. She threw foo at her.
All right.
Was eating her toes and she threw foo at her. And the group then left Denny's without paying. The restaurant manager called the police with a description of their car. A hometown officer stopped the car and the group was brought back to Denny's. West was arrested and one of her friends paid the restaurant bill. West was charged with assault and damage to property. And
all right, Boss Metal, there's no proof that these were banana pancakes. No proof at all.
It's like the whole O&A fight at the Waffle House.
Right, exactly.
Well, near and dear to my heart, another incident of kind happened not far from the CMS main studio.
Okay.
I gotta wonder when I read something like this, and I'm going to shoot this over to you so you can put the suspect at large on the screen. Because our fans are.
Can I just do a random search for black man and just put it up?
It's not a black man.
Or a black woman?
Our fans at large will be very kind and gentle in their assessment.
I'm sure they will.
They will. I'm confident of it.
All right. Well, then that's fair.
Yeah, they'll be very kind in their assessment of this whole story. Where the heck is this? Shoot, trying to figure out how to do this. Where the heck is this? Hang on a minute.
I ain't going anywhere.
I deleted this damn thing. Crash. I'm gonna go back to there. Now I'm gonna have to just send this to you by way of a link.
Okay.
Copy, Chris Aiken, compose, Chris. I know this is all compelling radio. All right. Paste and send.
All right.
All right. Again, this did not happen too far from me. And keep in mind the story that we covered in 2015, which I just kind of recap. So a Chicago woman is arrested in Indiana Applebee's after an argument over an all-you-can-eat deal, say the police. Now, here's the question. Do these Swedes really don't understand what all-you-can-eat means, or do they do this purposely to see if they could push the limits and get away with something?
Number 2.
Is it?
I'll take number 2. Of course they know that they
All
can't.
right, I'm just wondering what the reason is here.
I'm willing to bet that the fucking waitress at the Applebee's was a white chick. And they do this because the first cry will be, oh, fucking racism.
Absolutely. A Chicago woman was arrested at an Indiana Applebee's after an argument occurred over a quote unquote all you can eat deal earlier this month. Juanisha. It's S-H.
Oh, Swanisha?
Schwanisha. S-H-A-W-N-E-E-S-H-A.
Schwanisha the Swede.
Schwanisha Cobbs, 28, was charged on August 2nd with disorderly contact. About 8:38 p.m. that day, the Portage police officers responded to the Applebee's Bar and Grill on US 6 for reported disturbance. When the police officers arrived, they heard several people yelling and screaming. A woman spoke to the police and said that she, along with Cobbs, another man, and several juveniles.
Several.
So we got Shanisha.
That's Schwanisha.
Schwanisha.
Please get it right.
Schwanisha's friend, a man, and several juveniles. Several, which I'm going to say is 3.
Okay.
So we got Schwanisha, her friend, a man, and 3 juveniles.
6 people.
Like a minimum of 6.
Right.
6 people were involved in the argument at the Applebee's, the manager said. The group was under the impression that if they ordered the $15.99 all you can eat deal for one person, the order was good for the whole table.
It's a good thought. Why not at $2 a plate? That seems reasonable today.
This reminds me of Vegas Vacation, where Cousin Eddie takes Clark to the all you can eat buffet.
Right.
Clark, we got 1 plate.
Hey, it's Nick Papa Giorgio.
Exactly. When the group was told that each person...
This isn't true, Jim, or it might not be. Come on.
There was at least 8 kids?
We don't know that to be true at all. Come on.
I said a minimum of 6.
Yes.
6 or more is what I said. When the group was told that each person would have to pay $15.99 for the meal special, an argument started.
Yeah, I'll bet, because they thought they were getting away from a 20 spot, and then it jumped up to about almost 200.
Exactly. The group said the manager was unprofessional and that nowhere on the menu did it say that the $15.99 price was per person?
Everything on a menu is per person at a restaurant.
Right.
Isn't that a given?
Well, at the time...
Stop it, Demon. That's not nice. What are you talking about? He's got lovely hair.
Cobbs then handed the menu to the... Cobbs then handed the menu to the Portage police, who showed both Cobbs and the other woman in the group that it said per person on the menu.
Yeah, but I didn't see it, so it doesn't count.
Right. At the time, a couple was leaving the restaurant, and Cobbs pointed at them and stated that words had previously been exchanged between the couple and the group. As the couple walked out the door, words were exchanged again, and Cobbs allegedly became very loud and disorderly. That's hard to believe, isn't it?
Can't believe that.
That a loud black woman being disorderly? Never heard of it.
No way.
Never heard of it.
No way. Swede, not black woman.
Police warned Cobb that she was being disorderly, and one of the women in her group tried to calm her down.
And she said, "Bitch, shut your fucking mouth." Uh-huh. I didn't see where it said per person. What's that even mean? Per what person? That person or all persons? That's what I'd be thinking, bitch.
Where did you learn your Swede accent?
I visited Sweden. And
Have you been to Sweden?
I have.
All right.
That's how they speak, exactly.
When that didn't work, the police told Cobbs again that she was being disruptive and that she would be arrested if she didn't stop.
Listen, Ossifer, you getting on my last nerve, bitch.
I don't have time for this today. She was then put into a squad car and taken to the Porter County Jail. Her group ended up covering the entire bill.
I feel bad for the group because obviously the group probably hates this bitch. The group was with her. I mean, think about it. They paid the bill
Yes.
and let her go to jail. So obviously the group was probably sitting there saying, "Listen, Shwaniqua, or whatever, Shwanisha, we'll just fucking pay it. Just sit down and shut up." You know that's what they were doing.
Right.
They were probably saying, "Would you just sit down and shut up? We'll pay the fucking bill." No, we won't. We're not paying this bill, motherfucker. You getting 0 tip, bitch. Not that you expected more. For obvious reasons.
Yep. So Shwanisha went to jail.
Wonder if they had pancakes there and what they cost there.
I know. I'm going to get me some of them pancakes. Get me some of them pancakes.
Pancakes. No, Fuego, we have to see who we're talking about here. We can't talk about a story from last week.
Right.
All right.
All right. So that's one story, and I have one last thing to round out the show.
All right. That sounds good.
Because we're moving right along pretty quickly here.
Yeah, we are.
Well, this seemed to be a very successful segment last week, so I'm going to end with this segment again.
All right.
There's a request in the chat room that we need a Snatch Chat bumper. Dude, I'm in a total fucking sexed up porn fucking drunk stupor tonight. I'm just ready to talk about pussy, 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 pussy.
Isn't that like the greatest word ever? Hunt.
Roast beef.
Pictures of snatch shoots. Snatch.
You got 3 inches of moist skin flaps, and we'll do anything for that.
It's true. Sometimes I'm a little more profound than I try to be.
You are a philosopher of the street.
I guess so.
You're very street. All right. Grooms are revealing why they called off their marriage just before the wedding.
Oh boy, this ought to be good.
Well, apparently some of our discussion last week struck a nerve with some folks,
Okay.
and they loved it. It was just like, Jesus Christ, fucking bitches. We recently wrote a post here where brides revealed why they called off their marriage on or right before their wedding day.
Okay.
In the comments, the grooms also shared their stories as to why they suddenly called off their wedding. And here are some of the results.
All right.
I'm a groom who called off the marriage. The bride told me 3 things the day of the marriage. Number 1, she wanted a limo. Number 2, she didn't want to have sex with one person the rest of her life. And number 3, she thought she might be a lesbian.
Well, that's a good reason to call it off.
Yeah. So where's the benefit for me now?
Yeah.
What's left for me? Oh,
So
I get the privilege of having you as my wife. Is it the privilege?
Yeah.
That what I get?
I get to pay for you is really what I get to do here.
Yeah.
I get to pay for you while you fucking cheat on me with chicks and dudes and anything you want.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Okay.
So again, where's the benefit for me?
None.
You're lucky to have me.
Oh, shut up.
All right. We had been together for 3 years and we were in our late 20s. Looking back, we both had serious communication issues and undiagnosed mental health issues, anxiety for me and depression for her. Not long after we got engaged, she suddenly lost her job. She struggled to find work, but she was determined. However, it started to take a toll on her mentally and financially. I wasn't making much, but I helped where I could. Add to that the stress of wedding planning and growing guest lists. She came from a big family, and I was looking at work friends to fill the gap on my side, and things started to go downhill. Soon she started hanging out with a few friends, and a few months later, before I found out she kissed another man. I was devastated, but we both said we would go through with it.
What in the world is wrong with that guy?
Well, let bygones be bygones. We'll just go through with it anyway.
Yeah, because if there's one thing that is common with cheaters, it's that they stop cheating.
Right.
They never cheat a second time once they've done it a first time. They learn their lesson.
Yeah, it's just like yelling fucking faggot at a friend. He learned his lesson. It's a teachable moment. Then about a month before the wedding, we got into a big fight. Her family wanted to invite some family friends to the rehearsal dinner, which we had grown into a full-blown deal as all the aunts and uncles on both sides wanted to come. It was at that point I decided to call it off. It was so embarrassing and painful, but my parents were supportive. We tried to stay together, but it was definitely over.
Should have been over when she was making out with another dude.
Yeah.
Why in the world would you still be getting, I can forgive that this one time, I guess.
Sure.
What?
Because you're so worth having.
Oh, my God.
You're so worth it.
Have these guys never gotten pussy before?
Apparently not.
Do you think it's, I'm going to ask a serious question. Do you think it's pussy, or do you think it's never had anybody care about them more than on the superficial level?
I just think that guys believe that they need to placate the woman regardless of what those shenanigans they have to put up with.
Yeah, I was guilty of that myself.
Mm-hmm.
We are stupid. Men are stupid.
Yeah, when you're young anyway.
When you're young, yeah.
Young, dumb, and full of cum as it goes.
Yeah. And unfortunately, you marry one of these bitches and you become old and still full of cum when they stop fucking you because they're fucking their friends or whatever.
Exactly. My dad was engaged to a woman who came up from a very wealthy family. He proposed because she gave him an ultimatum after she tried to make him jealous by flirting with his friends. He was a Catholic and his church required them to go to counseling before the wedding. He slowly realized they had absolutely nothing in common and he called off the wedding 3 days before. He was at her parents' house for a wedding shower 3 days before the ceremony and told her he didn't think they should get married. She didn't take it too well and flipped out and refused to let him leave the room.
Whoops.
He slammed the wall with his fist and she stepped aside. My dad went downstairs where her mother and the other women were picking up his hamster. I have no idea why my dad would bring a pet hamster to a wedding shop.
What? Wow, this all sounds fucked up.
Told her mom she might need to go upstairs and check on her daughter and walked out of the house carrying the hamster under his arm. How big was that hamster?
Jesus.
I mean, the
Sure, it wasn't a dog? Why would you bring a hamster to a wedding?
He said, I have no idea why my dad would bring a pet hamster to a wedding. Was that his emotional support animal?
Must have been his emotional support load animal.
A few months later, he met my mom and they've been married for over 30 years.
Wonderful. Is
My
the
boy,
hamster still alive?
yeah, they used it in their honeymoon.
In the bedroom?
Yeah. My boyfriend's father joined the Navy and left on a ship to avoid his wedding day. His bride-to-be had lied to him about being pregnant to guilt him into marriage. As the day approached, she admitted she was not pregnant at all. She felt comfortable saying this because her father had ties to the mob.
Ooh, wow.
And she knew he would be significantly hurt if he left daddy's little girl at the altar. He joined the Navy to get away and dumped her as soon as he got out of training.
Wow.
He ran into her decades later and she acted as if they were old friends.
Oh, well, that's nice. Meanwhile, she told her dad, hey, guess who I ran into?
Yeah.
Go get him. Where he lives now. Yeah, he lives in Main Street, 32 Main. Could you send a couple guys over, Dad?
Yeah. I called off a wedding because I realized we weren't ready to make a marriage work. There were a number of skills that a couple needs to have before they can really succeed in a relationship that's meant to last a lifetime. These skills are pretty obvious. That would be compromise, forgiveness, sacrifice, and an acceptance of things you don't like but can never change. Shortly before the wedding, I realized that we didn't have those skills. That made me extremely uncomfortable, and with the prospect of going through with it, and ultimately, I couldn't bring myself to start something that I knew wouldn't last forever. The mistake we made was getting engaged before we knew we had those skills, before we were ready. We gave ourselves a long engagement with the idea that we'd have time to figure out those skills before the big day, but we didn't realize that it put a timer on our relationship, which essentially turned into a time bomb. When the day came, we were either going to be ready or we were going to have a very bad time.
Okay.
So got up to the point. It's like, nope, not ready.
Not doing this.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm out of here. A couple of weeks ago, I went paintballing for a bachelor party a week before the wedding. When I arrived, I found the groom and said, I get the feeling that this will be the last time I ever see you. He replied, don't count on it. The wedding's off. I laughed and he didn't. To be fair, I think it was probably a good thing. The guy had gotten engaged after a year of dating, given up meat for his fiance, and pretty much dropped off the face of the earth since he started dating her. Whenever I suggested that rushing into getting married was a bad idea, he would tell me, sometimes when you know, you just know. I guess sometimes you know and you still don't know.
First of all, the fact that the bachelor party was at a fucking paintball tournament instead of a strip club tells you something.
Mm-hmm. You're not going to go see naked girl. It's just like The Hangover. You know, if there's a strip club anywhere near, I know Phil will sniff it out. And that little girl up there grinding on the stage, that's somebody's daughter.
Yeah, it sure is.
I realized that she was more in love with getting married than she was with me. I was her avenue to marriage, and she felt that I'd be a loyal husband and a good father, but she didn't care about me just more than just a friend. And I've known a lot of women like that. It's just like, well, he asked me and I said yes. And it's like, well, are you in love? Well, you know, he'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll pay the bills. I'm good.
Yeah, it's good enough to get by.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever. At least I'm not going to be old and unmarried.
Oh, well, that's good for you.
An old friend of mine called off his wedding because he found out she'd slept with some dude at her bachelorette party the weekend before. He waited until the day of the wedding to call it off because he wanted her to have to explain it to her family, most of whom had flown in from town for the wedding. I was one of the groomsmen, so instead of him saying his vows, we all took him out onto the town wall in tuxes. It was still pretty depressing night out, and he was pretty torn up about it for months.
Nice. It's funny.
Can't imagine all this pomp and circumstances that goes into all this nonsense.
I know.
I was going to get married in March of 2012 and called it off in January that year. Basically, it just came down to a disagreement about what we wanted out of life. I was 23 at the time. I would have been 24 at the wedding, and she was 27. She wanted kids like almost immediately. I told her that I knew that I wanted to get a job and a home and whatnot first, and she was completely unwilling to compromise on it. She demanded that we have kids before she was 30. So within a year or two of the wedding, and there was no way that I would be ready for kids by 25 or 26, especially while I was in college. This is causing more and more of a divide between us. I knew that if we had gotten married, either I would have gotten what I wanted, we would have had waited on kids, and she would have resented me, or she would have gotten what she wanted. We would have had kids, and I would have resented her. Plus, we would have kids or kids that we were unprepared to take care of. I still miss her every day, though, and always wonder if I made the right decision.
What a loser.
I know.
Move on.
It's like, seriously.
It's all that was 2012. It's been 10 fucking years, bro.
Yeah, it's 12 years.
Or 12 years, yeah.
12 years.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop with the fucking, she was the one.
Did you get any snatch since then?
Yeah. If she was the one, then find another one.
Right.
Jesus.
I went on my first date at the age of 23, having never been in a relationship before. I thought everything was going well. About 3 months in, we got pregnant.
Oh boy.
We got pregnant.
Sure.
She told me, she told me that she was on the pill, and it was possible that she couldn't even get pregnant. This was a shock to my system, and we separated briefly. Following the announcement, we got back together, though, and really tried to make it work. My daughter was born in August, a very nearly 1 year anniversary. Our daughter is the greatest person in the world, and she's done more for me than she'll ever know. I've learned so much through her about responsibility and being an adult. Shortly after my daughter's birth, her mother began pushing the marriage issue. That's kind of okay. And I saved up to buy a ring. I proposed, and for some time it made things between us better. The situation was just too difficult, though. We had nothing in common other than our daughter and obviously her vag. Before long, she was again verbally and psychologically abusive to me, but having never been treated like that, I didn't understand what I was doing wrong. I began seeing a therapist who helped me realize that I wasn't in a healthy relationship. Finally, after an argument in which she threatened me with a physical violence, I knew that things were just too toxic to continue. I definitely looked like the bad guy, but I had to make the best choice for the future for all involved. The most difficult part was coming to the conclusion that having this situation continue around my daughter would actually be worse for us than us being apart.
Yeah, well, duh. I mean, you did it ass backwards and it fell apart. Imagine that. You had a kid before you got married and then it fucking fell apart. Wow, can't imagine why that happened.
No.
And you knew when you had the kid and you were trying to raise the kid that you had guaranteed you had very different value systems.
Yeah, of course.
But you still married her. You fucking dumbbell. Enjoy working until fucking Wednesday at noon every day to pay her, you dummy.
We were together for 7 years and we're getting married in a few months. 7 years. Like, dude, if you've been together for 7 years, you might as well just like forget the whole marriage thing. Forget it. We already bought a house and started trying to live our lives together. She was emotionally distant for some time, but I ignored it like a fool in love. Eventually, I noticed that she was spending significant time chatting with a guy she'd met on World of Warcraft.
Oh my God.
Also taking phone calls from a friend in private. I called her on it and our wedding was called off the next day.
That's good.
We bought our house during the mortgage bubble, and now I'm stuck with an underwater mortgage on a house that lost 50% of its value. I also still have the ring. It's been almost 5 years, and I'm not sure what to do with it. We'll go hawk it.
Hawk that bitch.
Yeah.
And pay down your mortgage.
Exactly. My mom was engaged to a guy who called off the wedding 2 weeks beforehand. At the time, she said it was because his family didn't support his remarriage. She stuck with him eventually, married him a few years later. Turned out he had at least 2 other wives during the same time.
Oh, wow.
She found this all out when he had a stroke and died, and another wife showed up at the hospital. In the end, mom lost everything, and now she lives with me.
Wow.
People suck, man.
They do.
2 weeks before the big day, I called off my wedding. I went down to the weekend after her bachelorette party, speed up to Monday morning, and I get a phone call from her maid of honor. It may have been the only call I had ever received from her. She tells me, "You cannot marry this crazy bitch." She then begins to explain that at the party, all of my fiance's lies came up with her. She had about 3 small different groups of friends together sharing stories while they were out and about doing what they do. Different stories from different friends started running into each other. One example was she claimed to have a modeling contract at an agency. Then another friend said, no, she doesn't have a modeling contract. I do with that agency. Basically, she used her friend's stories as her own. After the conversation, I was stunned for a moment. I felt empty and emotionless. The next thing I remember, I was walking back to my computer on the sales floor and changing passwords to important accounts. I told my manager that I had to leave. My reason, I wasn't getting married anymore. It was good enough. After I got out of there, I went and talked to the priest, told him the wedding was most likely not going to happen. Called the reception hall. The guy was pissed because I was supposed to write him a check the next day. Lost the deposit though. I met up with the maid of honor, another bridesmaid, and a friend. They took her out to dinner to stall and confront her about everything while I tried to move as much stuff out of my apartment. I had help from a friend, filled up my car, drove to my parents' house. My mother was shocked but happy because she hated her. She called when she got back, but I didn't answer, didn't even talk to her for a few days. In hindsight, I could see all her lies. Some things seemed a little unbelievable, but she was always able to back it up when I started to get curious, I dodged a huge freaking bullet.
Yeah, no shit. Wow.
Ow.
I do
friend
one
of mine-
more. Do one more.
Huh?
Do one
All
more.
right.
My back is fucking seasoned.
All right.
As you can see, I'm all squirmy and shit.
Yeah, I see that. A friend of mine attended a wedding where the groom waited till the fiance arrived at the altar, then pulled a huge red fabric letter A out of his pocket, pinned it to the front of her dress, and walked out of the church without a word.
Nice.
I would have just pulled out a big letter C. Cunt.
Yeah, cunt.
Exactly. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up a show, and let Chris get off the seat there and get his
I'm gonna lay down, stretch my back. Jesus.
stretch out and all that fun shit. But
Yep.
anyway, it's been a good show. Appreciate everybody who tunes in and, enjoyed it with us.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right. Well, we'll be back next Saturday. We'll do this thing all over again. So I will let you do the honor and take us out with a tune there, Mr. Aiken.
All right, then I would like to hear. How about if we go with Tankard with Mechanical Man from The Meaning of Life. Go out
Okay.
heavy. Go out heavy, since all we played was all this mid-tempo Great White shit all night.
What was the name of the song?
Mechanical Man.
Okay, there it is. All right. Well, we're going to get out of here. Everybody have a safe, enjoyable week, and we'll be back next Saturday. Do it all over again. So this is Neeley along with my very good friend.
Chris Agan.
And we're gone.
Bye, kids.
Hey, kids.
Hey, it's Chris Aiken from Chris Aiken Presents, The Classic Metal Show, and The Seth Williams Show. Now, we know it's frustrating to have to use this website for videos, that website for podcasts, and still another for the live shows. Well, let's end that shit right now. Get the Locals app and get it all in one place. This is free, folks. You don't have to pay to get most of the great content that we're doing. Like I said, it is free. On your phone or device, just go to locals.com in your iOS or Google Play Store, install it, and create an account. Open the app, surf to the search from the bottom, and type in Classic Metal Show. Then click Join. That's it. Once you join, you can click on the triangle button at the bottom, and you can select from videos, live streams, both past and active, or podcasts. Watch and listen right there. When a stream is live, you can participate in the chat right from that screen if you choose. If you want our exclusive content, just click support when you visit the Classic Metal Show community. It's simple, and it's the best way to stay engaged with all of my shows, so sign up today.